Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another episode of Frail Conversations. As you can tell from the title, today's going to be a very kind of touchy one. Um, Not in the sense of, sensitivity or anything like that, but I feel like this conversation is one that needs to be had. I feel like this conversation is one that should have been had a long time ago. Um, Not only just had, but like really understood. You feel what I'm saying? Because one thing that I had conversations with brothers and shit, and we talk about rape culture. And first thing they say is, though, I'm not a rapist. And I'm like, bro, like, that's not rape culture. Like, being a rapist is like the show con of the shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's like the show con of, rape culture, the final boss, like the last level of shit. But like, you feel me? What about the shit up until that point? There's so many different dynamics and layers that we get wrapped up in. You feel what I'm saying? And we don't pay too much attention to because it's the culture. See, the thing about culture is it develops a normalcy. Doesn't make it normal. You dig what I'm saying? Doesn't make the shit normal, but it definitely creates a normalcy. And because that normalcy is there, we we kind of just float in the motherfucker. We just swim with it. You feel what I'm saying? We just swim with the shit. So, when it comes to understanding, rape culture and things of that nature, I think that conversation needs to be had a lot more. I want to say, not necessarily often because you don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's something that we got to put on the table. You feel what I'm saying? If just looking at the title of this podcast episode, if just hearing the words rape culture, you feel me, as a man, makes you feel like, oh, that don't apply to me. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm not a rapist. I wouldn't rape a woman. You feel what I'm saying? When you truly understand rape culture, you'll be surprised of just what the dynamics really are. You feel what I'm saying? Because we live in such a world where fantasy rules, you know, and in the world where fantasy rules, you're given extremes. And when the extreme is always put on the forefront, the little subtleties are often overlooked. Rape is the extreme. You feel me? That's what you go to jail for. That's what, you feel what I'm saying, motherfuckers punish you for. That's what is, the greatest wrong. You feel what I'm saying? But there's little things up until that point. And because rape is so extreme, when you say rape culture, automatically you just assume the culture of rapists, the culture of rape. Like, nah, there's the the culture breeds the environment for the action to take place. You dig what I'm saying? Nobody's a killer until they're forced into a situation or environment that breeds the killing. You dig what I'm saying? Nobody's a gangster until they're forced into the reality that breeds the gang life. Nobody's a rapist until they're bred by the culture that breeds the activity. And it's when you finally decide to act on it, that's when it becomes the problem. But that's when it's too late. And I feel like this is the perfect time to have this so frail conversations, because if we don't, we're going to continue to allow our boys and our sons and our nephews, even ourselves, to get caught up in situations that don't need to be what they are, but situations that put us in fucked up quandaries because we are oblivious to some shit. You feel what I'm saying? We are oblivious to some shit, and we can shift it, and we control this culture. So it's time for us to shift it so that way we're no longer contributing to the very shit that we're trying to protect our girls from. And when I dive into this motherfucker, you'll see how aware you really are of rape culture while trying to claim to be oblivious to it, or how it doesn't apply to you, or how you're not a part of it. But before we dive into that, be sure to check me out on Instagram at _just_scene_ Be sure to follow my website at iamjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all who tip, sponsor, donate to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. And I thank you to anybody who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor the podcast. You can do so by clicking the description of your podcast, not the episode itself, but the full podcast. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. With that being said, we're going to take a quick break. And when we dive back into this episode, we'll be coming back to So Frail Conversations, rape culture. Now, I'm going to give my disclaimer. If rape is a touchy subject for you, please listen to this with, with the sensitivity that I'm trying to present with this, but understand that this is not a means to open any wounds for any women that may happen to be listening. This is a direct conversation to my brothers. This is why this is So Frail Conversations. So again, I know rape is a very touchy subject, but this is a subject that has to be touched right now. So, as I said, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive into So Frail Conversations, rape culture. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. Welcome back. And without further ado, we're going to hop straight into this motherfucker. Rape culture. As men, we all contribute to it. We're all a part of it. Like there's no exception. It's, some, not all. No, like when we have that bullshit ass argument, some men, not all. You dig what I'm saying? It's the same situation. It's the same argument as there's good cops. No, there's not. If there were good cops, there would be no bad cops because the good cops wouldn't be punished for being good. You feel what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where we have to address that fully and pay attention to our perspective of the culture that we contribute to, the culture that we fuel, and the culture that we perpetuate. And that culture is rape culture. Now, again, you may not be a rapist. You may not be a raper. You feel what I'm saying? You may not be a molester. You may not be a sexual offender. You may not be all of these things. And you can still contribute to rape culture. We still do contribute to rape culture. Anytime you have a mentality where a woman can express that she has been assaulted, a woman can express that she's been, physically harmed, and your first response and your first instinct, man or woman, specifically my brothers, is to say, well, she shouldn't have been dressed like that. That's rape culture, buddy. That's rape culture. And I just wanted to put that into perspective to see how well aware we are of it while simultaneously being oblivious to it. We're oblivious to rape culture because it doesn't affect us negatively. We benefit from it. We benefit from rape culture. We benefit from the women who we can, subjugate. We benefit from the women that we can objectify. You dig what I'm saying? We benefit from these realities until we no longer benefit from it. See, you got to understand like rape culture. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people don't understand that rape is not just getting fucked. You feel what I'm saying? A woman saying that she's been raped is not just her saying she's had sex, you know, against her will. Shit was taken from her, bro. Shit was taken from her. And that's a whole different dynamic. And until you've actually involved yourself and actually communicate with a woman who's experienced that kind of trauma, that kind of pain, it's hard for you to truly see the dynamic in which she's presenting to you, you know, because culturally we're taught that women will set you up. We're taught that women will lie. Off rip, off rip. We're taught that shit. So much so, I was at a family function one time and I had a cousin tell, that she was one of my younger cousins. So one of the older cousins was about my age, was speaking one of the, the new ones, the younger ones. She thinks she had to be like 14, 15. And she was like, out of her own mouth, she said, because girls lie. Girls lie. This is a grown woman. This is a woman saying that girls lie. Now, girls do lie. Boys lie. Humans lie. Men lie. Women lie. Numbers don't. Don't know why I chose to say numbers, but fuck with me here. People lie. But we're continually put into a perspective where we're looking at our women as liars from the beginning, right? So let's look at the full gamut of what rape culture consists of. Excuse me, I gotta take these beads off. Let's look at the full gamut of what rape culture really consists of. See, the end result is rape. The mentality has to already be there for you to not value the being, to feel like you have control and the power that you wish to assert over this being. You feel me? It's so many different layers to it, but it's like, how do we not know that we're being infused into it? We're raised into rape culture by our parenting, by the parenting that we have gone under, like the interactions we have. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Rape culture starts when we don't respect and understand the boundaries of a woman. Yes, smacking a woman on the ass when you're in middle school, that's rape culture, bro. That's sexual harassment. Pinching the titty randomly, that's rape culture. Sexual harassment, sexual assault. You feel me? If the women actually said something beyond when it just got like physically offensive, you know how many motherfuckers would be classified as, sexual offenders, rapists, you feel me, molesters. You feel what I'm saying? Groping someone against their will is rape culture. You feel me? But we contribute into it. As men, we think it's cool. Those are some for us. Some of us are rites of passage. What was the movie? Fucking, is it The Wood? I dare you to grab her booty. All right. And then he ran and he grabbed her booty. Rape culture. It's like, it's ha, you did it. You wouldn't have grabbed, like, bruh. Do you see how subtle this shit is? And it's not even subtle because it's right in our face. So now, when I tell my brothers, see, these are the conversations that women want to have with us. We don't listen because it's like, I'm not a part of rape culture. Oh, but we are. But we are. In fact, we perpetuate the shit. So now, like I said, that example was about high school. I dare you to grab her booty. When does the shit start? You feel me? Does it start when we're told to stay away from girls because they fast? And because they fast, they only want one thing. So we assume that they're just trying to trap us off and fuck. So fuck them. That's all they're worth anyway. That's what they like. Like I said, it begins with the devaluation of the being first. You feel me? Misogyny's deep. Misogyny's tied into this shit too. Patriarchy's tied into this shit too. Religion is tied into this shit too. So you can miss me with the shit. Well, where does it start? Does it start? No. We gotta really put it in perspective. When you have biblical verses in your religious construct that says if a man rapes a woman, defiles her, takes her innocence, her virginity, or whatever the case may be, but he rapes her, he can give her fathers 50 shekels as payment for the rape. There's only one time in the construct of the book in which I seen somebody step up for a woman that was raped. I can't think of his name. I would have to get the verses and everything like that. But the guy, he killed a man. And they asked him, why did you kill the man? He said, he raped my sister. He raped my sister. You feel what I'm saying? Now let's put that into context real quick, just for a second. The fact that it had to be questioned why he killed this man first. You dig what I'm saying? Like, if you're in a community, you have close proximity to another motherfucker. You have close proximity to those around you. You feel what I'm saying? People know shit. Before he killed that man, he knew that he raped his sister. Family typically finds out last that a wrong has been inflicted upon the family. People know outside before the family does. And you see what I'm saying? So if he found out as the brother that a man raped his, like, who knew already and said nothing, did nothing, acted on nothing, but it took this man to exact his revenge. But the question was, why did you kill him? Should that even have been a question? No. But again, rape culture is heavy. But see, again, rape culture is not just the physical fucking part. It is not just the overpowerment, the physical overpowerment. It's also the mental overpowerment, seduction and seducing the younger girls. That's a part of rape culture too. That's a part of rape culture. Being that motherfucker who was picking the chick up in your Charger from high school when you was 25 and she was 17. Rape culture, buddy. All of that shit was there. So now I seen situations where motherfuckers was like, I forgot what the topic was, but motherfuckers was like, girl, don't act like you wasn't getting picked up when you was in high school by that 25-year-old in the Charger. It's still her fault. Not the maturity of the man, but the woman. The younger woman, the younger girl has to be more responsible for the actions of another motherfucker's character. Let's sit with that shit for a second. You feel what I'm saying? Because a part of the rape culture and a part of taming this shit is us as men teaching our boys. Look, our women can't give our boys the real shit that we supposed to be giving them. They can't. You feel what I'm saying? At some point, we cannot continue to tell our girls, as we're the leaders, dun, 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 I'm the man. We can't continue to tell our girls and women to cover up and not check men for being fucked up in the head. We should address that. Because that's a part of the rape culture. Why is it so easier to say, Because again, like I said, it goes back to the biblical shit. Because now we're saying, a woman should cover up. She should never be seen. This is why I always say religion's tied to misogyny and patriarchy. But motherfuckers act like I'm tripping when I say the shit. Because where do we get the shit from? Because, excuse me. Because at what point was there a time in culture where motherfuckers could walk titties out, ass out, just some fucking loincloth and a baby on the shoulder? You feel what I'm saying? Never be touched, never be assaulted, never be molested, never be raped. But now we live in a time where, look, because now we live in a time where, she has to cover up. She has to wear this. She has to wear that. Be completely unattractive. Be completely unappealing. Because men are going to look crazy. Not to say, yo, bro, let's sit down with all of the men. Let's sit down with the young boys. Let's sit down with these motherfuckers and start to teach them how to control sexual urges. Yeah, your hormones are gonna go they're gonna go crazy. Why? Because women have pheromones. They're gonna biologically secrete some shit that is going to attract you naturally. You feel what I'm saying? And when you got the same shit, right? But at this point, we're contributing to rape culture when we continue to say boys will be boys. Oh, he was young. He's this. No. Teach that motherfucker. The moment your motherfucking dick can get hard, the moment your motherfucker, like, you're ready, but you're not ready. You feel what I'm saying? Your emotions, your hormones. Once your hormones are directly tied to your emotions. It's not just for women, motherfucker. It's us too. When our hormones lose control, our emotions are out of sync. So we need to teach our boys that control. You see what I'm saying? Now, like I said, let's tie it back to the cultures of old, when they can walk around with their titties out. You feel what I'm saying? And nothing happened. Do you know why? Because the men of that time were not rapists. We did not involve ourselves within a rape culture. Rape culture is directly tied to colonizing. At some point, we'll have to realize that. Because in rape culture, you're making someone powerless. You're taking everything away from them. No reserve, no regard. You don't give a fuck. You're taking that shit. And it's easier to take from a woman than it is to actually give enough to a man to make sure he doesn't take from a woman. You feel what I'm saying? It shouldn't be a point where only the women in my immediate circle. This is one of the quintessential pieces of why women say they don't feel protected. And all we hear is, and this is our response, so this has to be all we hear. Our response is, well, I'm not about to die for a woman I don't know. That raises other issues because we understand then there's a culture that defending women leads to death. Crazy shit. On the other hand of that, we contribute, we have lost the value, and we feel like if it's not within my immediate circle, it doesn't matter. But then again, how much value does your immediate circle have to where there's not been anything instilled to where you can have the value of a woman to offset this shit in your reality? It's mind-boggling in so many different ways. It's mind-boggling in so many different ways. I often wonder, like, when did it start? Well, fuck, when did it start? Because I can start to see that it became to get so much worse as we assimilated. We didn't integrate. We assimilated into a motherfucking culture and got robbed. You feel me? But we assimilated into a culture of colonialism, imperialism, and we started to become like the motherfuckers who raped us of everything. And we wonder where rape culture comes from. This shit is natural. Down to rape culture is so rape culture is so wired into everything that we fucking do as men. And we know that shit's so wired into everything we do as men that rather than making sure our sons don't repeat the shit, we just try to teach our daughters what to dodge. You feel what I'm saying? 2 kids can be raised in the same motherfucking household. Well, probably not now because times have changed. We're breaking a lot of cycles. Sons can be encouraged to be out here fucking, getting all of the ass that they can get. You feel me? Daughters are taught to stay virgins forever until they get married. Do you see where the disconnect is at? We're teaching our sons how to be rapists. by default and don't know it. We're encouraging our sons to contribute to rape culture every single day. Why? Because if rape culture is about taking what can't be given to you, or taking the physical body of a woman and it's not given to you, right? So we're important for all of our girls to not give it up. All of our boys are fucking. I'm gonna say that shit one more time. One more time. The encouragement by fathers. You feel me? Mothers have a little bit different situation. Then some mothers are fucked up too. Some mothers are fucked up too. You know, I've heard some shit. I've heard mothers say you got to use what you got to get what you want. Some shit like that. Mental fuck ups. I know. I'm speaking solely for the fathers, because this is so frail conversations. We will on one hand teach our boys. You feel me? We don't even teach them shit. Just when that time comes, yo, just make sure you out here getting some. I know you out here getting some ass now, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Use some condoms. Teach them how to get condoms. We make sure that they protect themselves. Tell them don't have a baby. Tell him don't have a baby. In the same breath, we would tell a daughter, do not be out here fucking. Somebody's off. Somebody's off, because if we're in one breath teaching our girls collectively, we're shutting them down. When they bump music like WAP and fuck this, fuck that, bust that open and shit. Oh, don't be listening to that. Don't be listening to that. That's not a modest woman. That's not this, that, and the third. Boom, boom, boom. We setting all of these standards for that. But off the other side, we're teaching our sons to go be creeps, to go fuck these bitches, to go have sex with all of these motherfucking women. Get your body count up. You feel what I'm saying? But we're teaching our girls to stay virgins until they're married. So if in one breath, we're teaching our women and our girls never to give it up, but we're teaching our boys to always get it, what's going to happen? Now we're able to get into the levels of rape culture. Now we're able to get into the levels of rape culture. You know, let me just put the head in. What goes through her mind when you say that? Really think about that. I've said it. These are things this is not a holier than thou type thing. This is a realization and a revelation come with maturity, because I was raised in this shit. I was raised in this culture too and didn't realize that, yo, I'm contributing to this shit. Why? Because I had never raped somebody. Just did all the other shit that rape culture entails. Because if all of these women, because I know we're taught this shit. Don't be like, I listen to the conversation. My little girl, she can't do this. She ain't gonna be doing this. She can't have it. Like, I'm 30 now. Big homies that got their daughters and shit right now. Like, my homies got daughters and shit. It's like, yo, she ain't gonna be out here fucking, but you want your son out here fucking. I don't get it. What you saying? What you mean what I'm saying? Why the fuck don't you get it? Because somebody else is now teaching his son the same shit you teaching your son, because this is a part of our culture. Regardless of what the fuck you teaching your daughter. Regardless of what you're saying. Yo, watch out for these dudes because they only want one thing. Oh, the same thing you wanted from my mama. We know. We know the culture that we contributing to. We know the shit that we participate in. We know all of the shit. And rather than owning up to it and saying, you know what, this is some fucked up shit. It's just like, you know what? I'm just going to teach my girls how to navigate. They can't navigate through it because we don't stop it. It stops with us and our influence with our sons. Period. Period, bro. That's where it stops. It stops with us and our immediate influence within our sons. You dig what I'm saying? You can train all day long. You feel me? How to avoid getting shot. You know, when you hear gunshots, duck, this, that, and third. You cannot avoid what happens when you catch a bullet. You dig what I'm saying? There's levels to the shit. I don't care how much you teach a motherfucker how to maneuver through the woods. They're still the fucking woods. Because there's shit that you cannot teach like, if you teach, wow, I'm glad I used this metaphor because now this shit ties in. We can't teach our girls. We can't teach our girls. It's not funny and haha. It's funny how hysterical this is and how delirious this shit really is. We cannot teach our girls how to maneuver through the jungle and teach our boys how to get the prey that is maneuvering through the jungle. That's rape culture, bro. That's a mind fucking a whole setup right there. We set our girls up to get fucked up. You feel me? Take a step away and say, well, you know, as for me in my household, we do this. Fuck the bullshit. Fuck the bullshit. Because the shit don't work. Because you can't, it's a duality. You can't, this is why our girls are saying, how come boys can get away with the shit that we can't get away with? They see. You think they don't see. Oh, because it's different. No, same standards. No more of this goofy shit, bruh. Sis, if you're listening, all y'all, this shit is trash. This shit is trash. We are literally creating a rape culture and we're contributing to it. And we act like we ain't a part of it. I ain't never raped nobody. Bitch, you ain't have to. You ain't have to. Because it's not always about raping somebody. Like I said, I like to use the Mortal Kombat example. Rape is Shao Kahn. Rape is Shao Kahn. You feel what I'm saying? How much shit is up until that point? You've played Mortal Kombat. You go up a whole fucking tower. A whole tower of fighters. Shao Kahn is the final boss. That's actual rape. You feel what I'm saying? That's actual rape. We can't want like, yo, you feel me? You feel me? Rape culture. You feel me? I'm inviting you over to drink. Now, granted, she came over and she drunk and she got like that. Okay, cool. But do you see how the culture, do you see this is what a culture is? This is why it's fucking normal. And it's not normal. It's a normalcy because this is what the fuck a culture is. You feel what I'm saying? This is a fucking culture. When a culture is viable, it seems like this is some normal shit and it's not. Think about it. You're inviting her over to lose her inhibitions. Do you know what it means to lose your inhibitions? You can't say no. Hey, yo, I got a bottle. Turn up. I buy a bottle. Now, I get it. She comes over. You feel me? Oh, she came over, though, and she was drinking and this, that, and the third. She can't go against that and shit. You set the environment up. As men, this is what it's like to contribute to rape culture. Fuck the rape at this point. What are the things that lead up to it? You feel me? What are the things that lead up to that shit? Do you see why they have to make laws for this shit? This is why they have to tell you stupid motherfuckers, if she's inebriated, she can't consent. Do you know why? Because alcohol removes your inhibitions. She came over by free will and she said she wanted it. She drunk it. I didn't force her to drink the shit. It's rape culture, bro. This is why it's normal. And this is why you end up pleading the shit because you don't understand why you're in the wrong. Why are you in the wrong for following the culture? Why are you getting all of this shit done to you because of the culture? Now it's like these bitches ain't shit. Do you see? This is why misogyny is what it is. An extension of it is hatred of women. You feel what I'm saying? Like when you gotta make a law to tell you that it's wrong to take somebody's, you know you're in a fucked up society. You dig what I'm saying? You're in a whole fucked up society, a whole fucked up reality, a whole fucked up everything. But again, I digress because I want to continue to discuss rape culture. Because my brothers, our daughters need us to implant something else deeper within our sons. We can't be on no shit like, and you know how we know for a fact that we are fucking with rape culture? You feel me? When a motherfucker comes to pick your daughter up for prom, you try to punk him. You try to bitch him. You feel what I'm saying? Little 17, 18-year-old kids about to go on a prom date ain't gonna be no fucking night. Y'all seen Bad Boys 2. You feel what I'm saying? They can't even take your daughter out on a date because you know the culture. You're telling your daughter, oh, don't be fucking, don't be doing this, but you're encouraging your sons to do so. You feel me? Biggest quandary, biggest mind fuck, biggest fucking delusion to ever grace this motherfucking world is the reality of when women, of when a girl has a baby, everybody wants to, oh, she's this, she's that, she's that, but then the boy has it and it's like, he gets a girl pregnant. It's like, it's different. How the fuck is it different? You feel what I'm saying? Because now that child is no longer that child has to be in the house that the daughter lives in. See, we don't even understand how sick this shit is, really. You feel what I'm saying? Because sons get past as daughters can't, but at the same time, sons are encouraged to do shit that daughters can't. Daughters don't. Daughters won't. Am I saying, yo, so what you saying? You want our girls to be out here fucking? You want our girls to just be out here doing shit for us? No, I want us to teach our boys how to not be out here doing stupid shit. How about that one? How about that one? That's the conversation we need to be having. That's the conversation I'm trying to have right now. Do you feel where I'm coming from? This is why I want to have this conversation. You see how wired it is in me? I know the response of a motherfucker when you start talking about certain shit. Because I know what we're supposed to say in certain situations. You feel what I'm saying? In certain dynamics. I know how we're supposed to respond. You feel what I'm saying? And we do. Just like a knee-jerk response. Oh, so you want your daughters to be out? Like, I've had several conversations with somebody. One of my good friends, she's a woman. I said, when my kids, like when I have kids and they babies and shit, I said, if I see, I said, oh, that's so, I was like, yo, it's so cute when little kids, like, they're like 2 and 3 years old. They haven't been over sexualized. They don't know what the fuck is going on. They just sitting down, hugging each other, holding hands. Get them away from my daughter and shit like that. I said, I would encourage that. If I was like, if I had a son and, he's sitting down, like 1, 2 years old, they don't know shit about shit. They don't even know that they got different sexual organs at that age. You know that? They don't, because it's covered by diapers. They don't know that. They're just two fucking souls that are vibing with each other. So they sit down, holding hands, whatever the case may be. So my friend, at the time, she asked me, she said, okay, now would you let your daughter do that? Yeah. Yeah. Like people ask that, like people when they ask those questions and shit, like you supposed to make a justification and put the double standard. No. Mm-mm. No, not at all. Because my perspective is not, you feel me? You guys are missing the point. When like, not y'all, I'm talking about when I'm speaking to people like that. They be like, so you'll let your daughter? Yeah. They're saying if I can't let my son do it, if I can't let my daughter do it, I shouldn't let my son do it. Or if I'm going to encourage my son to do it, I should encourage my daughter to do it as well. But knowing, now one of two things has to happen right now. One of two, either I don't give a fuck about my son because I'm not pouring into him the same way that I'm pouring into my daughter, or you feel what I'm saying? I don't want I know something's wrong. You can take your pick. I know somebody, I love my child. So, okay, cool. You know something's wrong and you contribute to the wrong culture. Simple. That's the simple fix. There's like, that's what it is. You may not like it. You may not want to hear that shit in that regard. And what the hell I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? But guess what? It doesn't really take it away. Because either I don't give a fuck about my son in any way, shape, or form, that I'm going to allow him to do the very shit that I'm telling my daughter that she can't do. You feel what I'm saying? Double standard. It's wrong. It's not something we should be co-signing. But why do we do that? Because we know the culture. We know we in rape culture. We won't accept it because we have to then accept our roles as contributors to it, as co-conspirators to the motherfucking rape culture that we are against. Because we're not against it when it's serving our benefit. You feel me? We're not against it at all when it's serving our benefit. You feel me? Like I said, running through elementary school, middle school, grabbing girls' booties and shit, pinching their titties and shit, like, that's rape culture, cuz. That's when the shit starts. You feel what I'm saying? Now, the very shit that you would go do, like, on some real shit, I'm going to tell you when my realization hit. You feel me? Because I know a lot of people like, yo, when I have a daughter, then things are going to change. Nah, my realization didn't hit. I never forget it. I was in the 6th grade. And I seen this dude slap this girl's butt like so fucking hard. And everybody laughed. Everybody was like, he said, damn, her ass fat. Bow, and smacked that ass real hard, right? And everybody laughed in the hallway and shit. We like, because, he's quote unquote one of the popular dudes. Certain people get away with rape culture. You feel me? I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Certain people can get away with being a part of rape culture because, they're supposed to be the cool people. You feel me? The cool guys. You feel me? In school, there's a lot of motherfuckers who was those rapists, low key. They was in the rape culture and shit. And they were like, because I'm going to put a pin in that quick. Like, because those were the type of motherfuckers that were like, yo, that motherfucker get all the girls. He ain't had to rape her. You'd be surprised. You'll be fucking surprised. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, we're in the 6th grade. So he smacks a butt and shit. And he's like I say, he's one of the cool people. He does that shit. There's women that have started to like the shit. There's girls at that age who's like, oh my gosh, he flirting with me. He liked me and shit. But this particular girl, it's crazy because at the end of that year, she ended up being my girlfriend. But after he smacked her butt, the look I saw on her face was so uncomfortable. Like I've seen people in uncomfortable situations, but I never seen uncomfortable after a situation like that. Like the face of an uncomfortable person. I was like, oh, she didn't like that. Wow. The bell rung. I go into my class, like we ain't had the same class. It just happened to be in the hallway. The bell rung, I go into class, and like, I'm not even paying attention to class because I'm sitting here thinking about that. And I asked, and I said to myself, I was like, at first, because I had a crush on her and shit. Like I said, we ended up going together at the end of the year and shit. She had a crush on me and shit. So I was like, I wonder if she would have looked like that if I would have smacked her on the butt. You feel me? Because I'm thinking I'm different. And then instantly, almost like a duality. It's almost like I had a devil on my shoulder and an angel on my shoulder type shit. But it wasn't about, it was, you know what I'm saying? It was like, what if that was your sister? If a dude randomly stacked my sister's ass, I'm beating the shit out of him. You catching the whole fade. You feel me? If you put my sister in an uncomfortable situation, if you make my sister feel like if you can do something to my sister to put the look on her face that I saw in that woman that day, or that girl, because we was kids, she's a woman now. But if you would have put I kill you. And I started to think, how would I feel if that were, if somebody had that energy towards me? You feel what I'm saying? I had a cousin who, this is another part of rape culture. Domestic violence and physical abuse, that fits into rape culture too. You feel what I'm saying? But this story is, quick tangent. So I had a cousin told me, he said, I hit a girl one time. And I was like, you feel me? Because we were having a conversation about hitting a girl. Like a lot of shit, important shit in my life happened to me when I was 11 years old. When I was 11 years old in the 6th grade, I slapped a girl in the face. Now, this was the last time I ever put my hands on a woman, but I slapped her in the face, not just for some disrespectful shit. You know what I'm saying? Like a couple days earlier, me and my homies was playing with BB guns. I got shot in the leg. Like the motherfucker hit me in the leg. I was limping. The shit hurt. She kicked me in that leg, and I kind of just slapped her. You feel what I'm saying? It would for me, there was nothing, no man woman type shit. It was like, nah, motherfucker, my shit hurt, and it was just a quick drawback. You feel what I'm saying? And at that moment, in that particular moment, I promise you, after I was in the office crying. I cried when I went back to class. I cried while I was suspended for a day. I really felt bad about slapping her, right? So the conversation was me and my cousin was having the conversation. And we was talking about hitting a girl. I said, man, I hit a girl one time and I never do it again. He said, me either, bro. And his response was, because after I hit her, her brother lumped me up. He said, that motherfucker lumped my eye up and shit. But I was like, wow, I would never hit a woman again because I truly felt bad about what I did. Your only response was that her brother punched you in your motherfucking eye. You feel what I'm saying? The reason why I'm saying that is because rape culture is easy to contribute to when you don't have remorse for the being. That's why I brought that in like that. Hey, huddle up, broskies, because it's time to elevate. The secret to evolving masculinity is to define it, understand it, then apply it. The So Frail series defines masculinity as the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. From this definition, I explain how masculinity is not just the hat that we wear, but it's the essence that we must exude through application. If you enjoy the So Frail conversations, why not read the books that inspired them? Visit IamJustSeen.com right now to add the So Frail series to your library to get a better understanding of what masculinity really is. I promise, after reading So Frail, you will never look at masculinity the same again. When I have these conversations, a lot of women are like, see, you get it. Why can't men get it? I actually care. Like, in that moment, I really felt bad. You feel me? I really and genuinely felt bad for hitting her. And I felt more bad because she wouldn't tell on me. The reason why I got rolled up, the reason why I got suspended was because I told on myself. I told that I hit her. When the teacher, she's like, why are you crying? She said, it's nothing. She wouldn't even tell on me. And I said, I slapped her. Like I told her, she was like, and you're just going to say it like you're proud of it. No, I'm not proud of it, but she won't tell on me. She will not tell on me. That was just a slap, bro. Not just a slap to undermine what the fuck I'm saying, but to put context into this conversation we're having right now. That was just a slap. You know how many women right now will not tell? How many women right now have not told? There's a startling statistic that 60%, over 60% of Black women, of our sisters, I don't like, this is us. This is our shit. I don't really, because those other women will never be my daughters. Sorry, I can't. They're not my mothers. They're not my aunties. They're not my cousins. They will never be my daughters. There's no reason why this really applies in that regard. You feel what I'm saying? But they don't tell on us. You feel what I'm saying? There's the startling statistic is that I kind of got off on that. The startling statistic is that over 60% of our women have been sexually abused, molested, touched, groped, raped, even over 60%. That's every other. 50% is half. Over 60. Feel me? That's every other woman has had an experience and we know nothing about it. Now, here's the startling fact, and here's why this conversation is what it is. Because if over 60% of our women have been sexually assaulted in some way, shape, or form, but 100% of us don't know nobody, somebody lying. Somebody lying. And I know by that you're thinking about when I went back to the conversation with my cousin, who's just like, girls lie, right? That's not who I'm saying is lying. There's no way in hell. We all know we got a nasty uncle. 100% of us know that we got a nasty uncle you can't leave your kids around. Yet 100% of us still don't know nobody that can contribute to the 60% of our sisters being molested and touched. Why? Why? What's the problem? You feel me? I had a conversation with a sister one time, and we were talking about why men don't protect women, right? And I simply responded with, scared to get beat the fuck up. Nigga scared to catch a fade. You feel me? One of the shorties didn't want to hear my response, but I was like, well, that's the question that was asked. I'm not scared of a fight. You feel me? I'm not scared to lose a fight because I can win them too. You feel me? But not everybody is comfortable doing it. I don't give a fuck how many muscles he got. A lot of motherfuckers ain't scared to fight. I mean, a lot of motherfuckers are scared to fight. Like, I know idealistically men are the warriors. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, men are supposed to be the warriors. Yo, some men are really scared to get beat the fuck up. Some men are scared to fight. Now, where does that come from? In regards to what? So now, imagine the first experience that you know something like this happened and you can't do nothing about it. Because it might have been your uncle that may have done it to your sister, may have done it to your cousin. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's the startling. Those numbers don't make sense to me. Like that puts the whole quandary in that puts you in a. It's like checkmate, bro. It puts the whole conversation in check. You dig what I'm saying? Because there's no way in hell we can put this statistic down and say over 60% of black women have been sexually assaulted in their life. 100% of us can say, nah, they lying because I don't know nobody in my immediate circle that done something. And in the same breath, 100% of, well, I ain't gonna say 100, 99.8% of us can say that we know that we have a fucked up uncle who will touch kids. Let it breathe. Let it breathe. Because now this is what I'm talking about with the culture. Because how many little girls have been touched by that uncle? I'm just going to stick within the family niche. How many little girls have been touched by that same uncle and the family said nothing? They called her a liar. They wouldn't believe her. Nobody listened to what the fuck she said the whole time. She's telling y'all, and they sided with him, knowing he was a fucked up motherfucker. And nobody said shit. Now here's where the breakdown comes down. Watch the breakdown. You feel what I'm saying? That particular man doesn't get, nothing happens to him. The very men she tasked to protect her, to make sure that doesn't happen, she can't tell them because they don't believe it. The first safety place that she goes to is her mother. You feel me? Because mothers are safe. What happens when you go to, like, mothers are the emotional side. Can't go to daddy first. He fly off the handle. You feel me? Let's go to mama's side, see what I should do. Mama don't believe me. I shut down. Now, again, I'm going to go back into the point where how many women have been sexually assaulted? And it's not because they weren't. We just don't know. You feel what I'm saying? When over six, like, my justification for that shit, I don't give a fuck what another motherfucker say. Oh, that shit ain't real. They making that number up. When I talk to the women in my circle, that number is 100%. That number is 100%. So when they tell me that this stat says over 60% of the women have been like this in my immediate circle, every single woman that is in my circle, that is my friend, that is my family, that is like, of the women, have experienced some kind of sexual assault sometime in their life. Elementary school, middle school. Now, again, that's what I'm saying. It's varying levels to the shit. Some have actually been raped. Some have just randomly had their titties grabbed in class or some shit like that. Had their asses smacked or whatever the case may be. Had their pussies touched. You feel me? Something. 100% of my circle is like that. 100% of your circle is probably like that too, but you don't know it because they can't tell you. And they won't tell you. Why? Why won't they tell you? Because they know you're a part of rape culture. Even in your little jokes, even like there's little subtleties and subtle things that you can say that will trigger the fact if you affiliated with the shit or not without you even knowing it. You ever been just randomly ghosted by a woman and you couldn't figure out why? You feel me? You like, yo, man, what did I say? You feel me? Just the conversation in it. Chances are you said something that triggered her to lead to the fact that you could be a co-conspirator to rape culture. You dig what I'm saying? Now, how does this shit get reaffirmed? You know, listen to our music. Fuck bitches, get money. Bitches ain't shit. These hoes ain't shit. Fuck these bitches. Bitch this, bitch that. Hold this, hold this, hold that. Bitch this, hold that. Square up, put it in the mouth. Fuck, suck, all of this shit. Bitches ain't shit. It's easy to contribute to rape culture. When I was in undergrad, maybe my senior year, had to be my senior year because I was just getting into a heartbreak or whatever the case may be, getting out of it, or not, it was just happening. I wrote this song because y'all know I talk about me being used. I used to be a rapper and shit. I used to be a rapper. This song was called Find 'Em, Fuck 'Em, Forget 'Em. Find 'em, fuck 'em, forget 'em. The title was Triple F because, I didn't want to put that long, but it was Find 'Em, Fuck 'Em, Forget 'Em. The hook of the song was just repeating, Find 'em, fuck 'em, forget 'em. And then I said, I'm going to pass them to my niggas. When I find them, fuck 'em, forget 'em. Right? And there's little things that you don't even, like, art imitates reality. How? The reality has to be there for the art to come out. The reality has to be there for the art to come out fluidly. You feel me? The more fluid and more creative the art can be, the deeper the reality is. You feel me? The deeper the reality is. So when we ask how we're able to contribute to rape culture, and we think it's just like, no, what are you pouring into a kid? You feel what I'm saying? Because these little boys that are hearing, you feel me, run a train on this chicken shit, they don't know what that shit really means and what that shit can lead to if shit goes sour. You feel me? I always had the utmost respect for my sister. I love her to life. My sister would never, ever, ever contribute to the shit. Like, I used to always feel like my sister was a cop blocker. Like, for real. I used to be like, yo, you blocking. My sister protected me a lot. You feel me? She kept me. One time she protected me from a sexual predator. I didn't even know it because I didn't think I was being preyed on. I didn't think it was a predator. One of her friends, at the time was, I think she was like a year older than my sister. Me and my sister 5 years apart. So she was 6 years older than me. So she was supposed to give me some brain. I'm gonna come back. She was like, nah, your sister made me promise. Now I'm like, why are you blocking? I was 15. I'm like, yo, why are you blocking, bro? Like, y'all about to get some head from her, yo. She's like, no, you're not. You feel what I'm saying? My sister protected me. But in addition to that, the reason why I brought her up in this situation is because I watched her protect other women too. Never, and it was in me thinking that as young, oh, you cop blocking. No, she wasn't cop blocking. She was protecting that girl. She was protecting that girl from what she knew was going to happen if she did not step in. And sitting down talking to her as I got older, you feel me? I think we had this conversation probably like 5, 6 years ago, maybe. And I asked her, I didn't even have to ask her really. It just kind of, we was talking and, she was telling me about that situation. She was like, yeah, I had to step in. Now granted, I wasn't the person involved, but the situation was one of her, like, how like you had little homies and shit? Like it was one of her little homies and shit. But she knew that the dudes that were trying to get at her was like, oh, nah, they want to fuck. And it was like, these dudes got this girl in a room. And when she seen the dudes she just seen them walking there, she said, no, 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 hell no. All y'all, she said, get your ass out. And the girl is like, what? I'm just trying. She said, no, get the fuck up and get the fuck out now. And she looked at the dudes and said, I can't believe y'all. And they like, yo, what you mean? She said, I already know what y'all was about to do. They was going to run a train on her. Rape culture. She came back there with us. What you mean? She grown, right? What do you do? I want my brothers to really take this shit into consideration. What do you do when you're in a position where you can't say no? How do you move when you can't say no? Really, I'm gonna let y'all rock with that. I'm gonna let y'all sit with that for a minute. I'm gonna really let y'all sit with that question for a minute. I'm gonna ask it one more time, but I'm gonna let y'all sit with it. What do you do when you're in a position where you cannot say no? See, most of us have never been in that position. Now I'm elaborating, take it a little bit further. What do you do when you have something, a possession that everybody wants? Dave Chappelle put that shit into perspective when he was talking about he was on a train with $25,000 and shit. And he said he was scared for his life. That was the first time he ever had that money on him. Scared for his life. He just wanted to get off the train. He said, now imagine if I had some pussy. Powerful shit, because this is what the fuck rape culture is. Imagine being in a position where you have pussy. You have the most valuable thing to you. It brings life. It's a portal that brings life into this world. You possess that shit. Imagine what to do when you can't say no. Nah, it's hard for us to imagine that shit. You know why? Because we're the takers. Until a motherfucker goes to prison. Until a motherfucker goes to prison. I was watching, what was it? I want to say it was Lockdown or Lock Up, something, whatever the case may be. The dude sat on dude's bed and then they raped him. And in that position, you kind of already feel rape is wrong. You already feel it. I think I watched that movie when I was like 13. But you already feel rape is wrong. You know you shouldn't be doing certain shit. But then when you can see the reflection of yourself, and then it goes back to buck breaking when, it's like, what happens to these men after they have their manhood taken from them? What the fuck? Okay, it's one thing to how do you say no when you can't say no? You dig what I'm saying? That's a very, 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 very dangerous thing. Because you don't even know. Like you can have a homeboy that can be fucked up in the head. You don't even know it. And you don't know what the situation could be after you involve him into the situation. Now y'all both implicated in the shit because he fucked some shit up. You dig what I'm saying? You don't know what you don't know. But I'll ask you to know this. What would you do if you can't say no? I get it. Everybody keeps talking that shit. My brothers be on some shit. Well, man, she went in there. All she had to do was say no. Let's keep it a buck. Let's talk man to man. We're going to talk men to men right motherfucking now. Have you ever let a woman just tell you no? Even to the basic level. Yo, shorty, how you doing? Oh, I have a man. I'm not interested. What you mean? He don't let you have friends? Have you ever just let a motherfucker say no? Now pussy's on the line. You really expect the motherfucker to believe that you just say no? That she can literally just tell you no? Keep that shit a bean, bro. Don't play with it. Don't lie. Let's be honest. I get it. You may feel as if you may not be the motherfucker that will actually rape somebody. However, you contribute to the motherfucking culture and don't even know it. There's levels to the shit. The fact that you will not take no for an answer. You motherfuckers got to learn how to deal with rejection better. A lot of these things are planted seeds that just manifest themselves. You feel what I'm saying? So again, I'm going to ask one more motherfucking time. Before I ask that question, I'm going to say this. How many times have you been in a situation with somebody where she coming over, you chilling? Not only that, you supposed to be trying to get to know her period on, you don't let her come over. Bam. Do you see what setup you're starting to make? Right? Then she gets over there and you're like, yo, why you sitting way over there? You bullshitting. See, you bullshitting because you know what you came there for. You know what it is. Seducing is like talking the draws off. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But at the same time, there's still levels to that shit. There's still levels to that shit, and there's levels to the adaptation and what you're internalizing and what you're actually putting into yourself. Not only putting into yourself, but what you are setting as the tone for what you're about to put into her. No pun intended. Feel me? And so with me saying that point, it's like, how many times have we been in situations where we like, yo, man, she agreed to it after the begging. I get it. We all said the shit. I don't beg for no motherfucking pussy. No, we all did. We all did and we all do. You feel what I'm saying? Call a shorty over and shit, and y'all just chilling. But then now you trying to, let me do the let me stretch, let me lay on it, let me start to, you know what I mean? Let's pause this movie. Let me do there's little certain shit that we do to get the ass. Because now we got to put it into perspective, the rape culture shit. Like the rape culture is this. When we're taught to court, when we're taught to date, where our only objective is to get some pussy. Do you not think that's rape culture? Now, granted, some do go above and beyond. It's like, okay, the flirting doesn't work. The jokes and all of this shit doesn't work. I got to take it. So again, now it goes back to we're teaching our sons to always get some pussy, to be out here fucking, to be out here, doing what you're supposed to do. But we're teaching our girls to stay virgins and they're fucking who? Who? Well, it's 2021. We're not going to get too heavy into that shit. But who are they fucking? So now I'm going to ask you one more time. What do you do when you're in a position where you can't say no? We can talk that hindsight shit. Oh man, she could have said no. She wanted this shit. She could have walked away. See, I'm not even talking about the way she dresses at this particular point, because that brings in a whole nother issue. I'm talking about, what do you do, my nigga? Listen, what do you do when you can't say no? Miss me with that goofy bullshit. Man, she could have said no. She could have walked out. She could have just disagreed. She ain't had to say yeah. You say that shit now. But everything up until that point led to the fact that she couldn't say no. How many of you motherfuckers actually got some pussy from a woman? Yoni, vagina, whatever. We grown. How many of y'all actually got some pussy from a woman because she wanted to give you some pussy? Not how'd you talk her out of the pussy. How many? Now, granted, I'm not saying y'all were just out here not getting pussy that you had to beg for or anything like that. There's, you had those moments. But think back to some of those moments where you had to talk her out of her. You had to talk her out of it or talk her into it. It's crazy, right? You see how subtle this shit really is? You see how subtle this shit really is? And you see how easy it can go sideways? Imagine you deep as a pussy and she decides to say no. And you're like, yo, I'm almost done. Bam, you just crossed the line. You violated. You violated. Now you're sitting there begging like, yo, but she consented to it. She was up until the exactly. And when she said stop, you didn't. You violated the whole contract at that point. You dig what I'm saying? This culture is very problematic. This culture is very detrimental to our existence, to our being. This culture is hell because it's encouraging things within us that are forcing us to create the very monsters we don't want our daughters to be with. Because if we're going to say boys only want one thing to and protect their daughter, like what was the one thing you wanted from her mother, and did you get it? What is the difference in between the little boy and you? I know these boys at this age only want one thing. If you know they only want one thing, why don't you impart something in them to want more, to want something else? No, but you'll punk them, no. You'll try to assert a dominance that you won't even say to the motherfucking peers that fuck with you. You feel what I'm saying? The same shit we're trying to prevent our boys from doing to our daughters, we're still doing to women. You feel me? I think this was when I was doing my YouTube shit. I said in So Frail, it was the So Frail conversations over there. I said we will really get mad at a motherfucker for doing to our sisters, doing this for shit that they do to our sisters, and then go do the same shit to another man's sister. The very shit we about to whoop his ass for, the very shit we put the pause on him for, we gonna go beat another motherfucker's ass. So we know it's wrong, but why do we contribute to it? We like at that point, it's insanity. When you know something is wrong, when you know something is off, and you know something, it requires a physical punishment for it. Why do you still contribute to the shit and do it? You feel me? If your sister, your daughter, whatever the case may be, came to you and said, "Yo, this random dude just grabbed my titty." Now, granted, we grown, you know what I'm saying? So I hope y'all ain't out here just randomly grabbing titties. What the fuck? Like, nigga, at this age, you need to know. You feel what I'm saying? But think about the little shit that we do. You know, when we in a club and we just, slide by a woman, you know what I'm saying, hand on the back, and then, grind your dick up against as you pass by. Rape culture, bro. You dig what I'm saying? First time I ever seen that shit done, I was watching the Wayans brothers. It was hilarious because it was like, they triggered the fun shit into it as he was sliding in between women. But then it was like, in the club scene, that's not the same shit. You feel me? I remember I was like 23 or 24. 23. I think I had to be 23 because I was, yeah. So I go to the club. Now, mind you, this particular RA, I had the biggest, she was my first RA ever when I got to college. So, no, this is a different RA. No, this one, she was like my first, tutor. She was my first tutor. But she happened to be a RA too. That's a whole different story. But she was my first tutor. I had the biggest fucking crush on her. So I was a freshman. I think she was like a junior at the time. A sophomore or junior, one or two, but upperclassmen and shit, upper class woman, biggest crush on her, ass fat, everything. You feel what I'm saying? Now, mind you, this is me speaking as my 18-year-old self coming into college, right? Fast forward to me being 23. I always had the crush on her, always flirted with her, always really liked her. You feel me? But I knew her. I mean, we engaged in conversations. We spoke outside of shit. You feel me? We had, like I would go to her dorm, like when she was RA, and just sit and just talk to her because it's like, yo, we was cool. We at the club one day. It's just one of those, the fucking stars aligned for us to be in the club. We wasn't in the school setting. We wasn't in RA setting. We was in the motherfucking club, nigga. Ooh. But in the club, I seen her and I made sure I knew that it was her. I was like, okay, that's her. I touched her arm. When she looked back at me, if looks can kill, it was like she gave me the whole, you know what I'm saying? But then she lit up when she knew and registered that it was me. And my first response was like, damn, what the fuck I do to you? Like, it's like, I know you. And like, she hugged me and shit. She smiled and shit. We even danced on the floor after that and shit. She was like, what you doing in here? You know you too young to be. I said, the fuck you mean I'm too young? You ain't that much older than me. She said, the little baby's out in the club and shit. We had a fun moment. But, in that moment, after I touched her and she looked me in my face, that was the same discomforting face I saw when I was in the 6th grade. When that dude smacked that girl's butt, that's the same face I saw. Now, mind you, 6th grade, we're about 11 years old. At this point, I'm 23. She was an upperclassman, so she had to be about 2 or 3 years older than me. So she's like 26, 27. You feel me? These are two totally different women, but I'm just putting this thing into perspective for my own sake. Imagine an 11-year-old going through this shit, and they're 27 now, still going through this shit because it's rape culture. We could talk the bullshit all day long because we may not contribute to it, but listen, take a step to understand our sisters, bro. You dig what I'm saying? Now, granted, I had a positive experience with that woman. After I touched her and shit, and she looked at me and shit, like I said, those were the same fucking looks. But when she registered, oh, this is you. She was like, boy, I almost cussed you the fuck out. I was like, yo, for real? Like, in my mind, I'm oblivious as to why she would have cussed me out. I'm like, yo, you know me. For me to touch you means, because like we've had conversation before. She didn't know who the fuck I was until she made eye contact with me and registered. Rape culture, bro. You feel what I'm saying? I used to go. It started to fine tune this shit because like I used to be in the club and motherfuckers like I never just jumped on a girl and just started dancing. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Let me not lie. I stopped doing it when I was like in my 20s, like 23 and shit like that, because it was like, bruh, I am literally just walking up on her ass and putting my dick on it. What the fuck right do I have for that shit? Motherfucker like, yo, this the club, man. That's not what they come for, bro. You feel me? When I was like 15, 16, going to the parties and shit, 17, like I thought that was cool. When I seen the ass bouncing, it's like, okay, cool, let me hop on it. And then she'll bounce a little bit, and then, you feel me? She'll look back at you, and if she fuck with you, she gonna go harder. But if she don't fuck with you, she gonna walk away. I was like, yo, what the fuck she walking away for? Like, and it's like, bruh, we're violating, dog. We're fucking violating. Now, it doesn't help. It makes it harder to see sometimes when you that nigga, you know, for lack of a better term. You feel what I'm saying? When you the motherfucker who's like, yo, women, they like when you're known in a certain pocket, when you go to like certain parties or certain clubs, like there's not a no because the people know you. You feel what I'm saying? Like the people that is like, so you're gonna grind on who you know. You feel what I'm saying? So you never really get that quote unquote rejection piece. But that doesn't necessarily mean you are entitled to it all the time. So it's like, you gotta like, it's when I started to really put that shit into perspective, it's like, it hit me different. It really hit me different. And then I was like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with us to where when we respond, when we do a certain thing, our women just like, it's like, what is it like to navigate as a woman? I don't even think I want to know. I don't even think I want to know, bro. Because then it's like, as I got older and I really started to transition and change, like I didn't just write So Frail because, you feel me, I realized that there's a problem with us. That's what these So Frail conversations are. There's a problem, but these are problems that nobody wants to address. Like a lot of the shit that I'm talking about, a lot of motherfuckers don't want to address because it's uncomfortable. I'm not a rapist. But you contribute to rape culture. You don't have to be a rapist or a raper. I mean, the reason why I always say the rapist and raper is because I'm trying to get out of saying rapist. That's why, because it's like anything that ends with the ist suffix means that it is a profession. You have become a professional of it. You have become I can't conceive that rape is something that you should perfect. So that's why I'm starting to try to say raper. And it's like, because like if you look at a pianist, they have mastered the piano. If you look at a violinist, they have mastered the violin. Hell, a scientist, which is something that I am, you have mastered a level of science. A rapist is a person who has mastered rape. I can't conceive, like, that is not something that should be mastered. But that's rape culture. The rapist is Shokan. You have mastered rape. Wow. That's why I'm trying to transition to, because like my mind is so fucked up in thinking about that. Like it's like a rapist is a motherfucker who has mastered raping. It's like, nigga, like, you have mastered raping. Raper is still bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay the word, but my mind is fucked up because it's like, you label a motherfucker as a rapist. All I can think of is that they practiced this shit. They perfected this shit. They have been doing this shit. That's sick to me. That is fucking sick to me. It's fucking crazy, bro. But that's why I use those two interchangeably, like, because I'm trying to transition out of it. But it's like, because it's, for me, it's not about reducing from the title. It's about the mentality, like, to dedicate yourself. I know what it took to become a scientist. I watched what people do to become a saxophonist. I watched what people do to become a pianist. What does one have to do to become a rapist? That is a whole different level of fucked up. That is a whole different level of fucked up. Because the victims in between all of that, for you to master, to become a, I can't think about it anymore. That's how, I'm sorry, I digress. Look, where the fuck was I at with that shit, man? Yeah, but rape culture. When, like, there's little subtleties that I think the last thing I remember talking about was the club. Dancing and shit, and the shit that we contribute to. Little shit like that. Like, that shit just threw my whole train of thought off. But in dealing with rape culture, you feel me? What are the little nuances and subtleties that we impart into our boys? You feel me? I wouldn't encourage my sons, my nephews to do this shit. But it's a culture that we live in, and we got to assimilate to the norm. We don't have to, but we do. Because as men, we choose not to teach our kids the right way. We choose not to look at our sons in accordance with what our sons need to be looked at. We would rather tell our daughters not to do certain shit. We would rather tell our daughters we would tell our daughters to, like I said, we would tell our daughters to protect themselves from the women, we're creating the men we're telling our daughters to protect ourselves from. Sit with that, bro. Really fucking sit with that. That shouldn't be. That should not be the case. That should not be the reality. That should not be. But alas, it is, and why? So when I tell y'all, we contribute to rape culture, when I say you contribute to rape culture, never again. If you can look and say, your daughter can't fuck with this type of boy, your daughter can't do this, your daughter can't do that. When you run down the list of all of the things that you know that your daughter can't do, and you allow your son to do them, you are a willing participant, and you know without a shadow of a doubt that you are a part of rape culture. And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try to wrap it up, man. I lost it. I lost the flow with the rapist shit. My bad. Like, I lost the flow of it. I think this was a good conversation. This was that awkward conversation that we have to have. We're afraid to have it. Because what this now does is forces us as men to step into a position where now we can't be cowards anymore. We have to check men, no matter their age. You dig what I'm saying? No matter the age, we have to be better. You feel me? We have to do a lot better than we've been doing. We have to put ourselves in a better position to truly acknowledge better shit for ourselves, for our women. And I get it. It's like, they say some women, get it. Some women don't. Some men get it. Some men don't. My perspective in this is that when it comes to this culture, bro, when it comes to rape culture, what we need is men to have this conversation. No more can we just cage our birds up. By birds, I mean our daughters. We're caging our birds up and teaching our boys how to get a bird out of the cage. There's so many metaphors I can use right now and in this reality to tell how fucked up it is, how we contribute to rape culture. And I hope you guys get it. I hope if you hear this shit, you fucking get it. It's a mind fuck. You feel me? We understand that men chase. Men pursue. I'm not going to say chase. Men pursue, women run. Basically, we set up the predator and the prey relationship with our women. We tell our women, make sure we tell our women, about women, I mean our girls, our cousins, our daughters, our sisters. We tell them, make sure you're the best prey that can get away. Then we tell the men, make sure the prey never gets away. You feel me? We teach our girls how to stay in the cage. And then we teach our boys how to go in the cage. We tell our girls never leave the cage. We tell our boys to go into the cage. You dig what I'm saying? I was having this conversation with a woman one time. I was really trying to get to know her. And it was in our talk, whatever. It was like, I'm going to leave it at that. No, I already opened the door. So it was in our talk. It was, I can tell that a lot of the dynamics and the expectation was set for certain things that never transpired. And she would ask me, she would be like, how come you don't be talking about sex and stuff like that? I said, because there's more to the conversation. She asked me, well, how come whenever we talk, you don't be trying to tell me I got a fat ass and shit? I was like, do you got a fat ass? She was like, yeah. I said, don't you got a mirror? She said, yeah. So why the fuck are we going to talk about the obvious? And she was like, I'm just not used to that. And then it goes into, more dynamics of rape culture, like as far as lust and all of that shit. Like all of these different things play a heavy part into the shit. The proud moment of that, even though her and I don't talk anymore, that set a standard for her. But more importantly than setting a standard for her, it lets me know that there's things that if I have a son, I have to teach early. I always talk about practicing celibacy, right? And never really reveal. I talk about how the creativity came, but there's a different level of peace that it gave me. Practicing celibacy showed me how wrapped up into rape culture I really am, what really was, and how subtle it really is, and how certain shit just flowed a certain way. Rape culture has reached a point where now we're getting upset with women because they have OnlyFans. Now they're charging to fuck them. What kind of world have we lived in? What kind of world of men have we created to where there's just no way around that? Women have finally conceded and realized there's no way around keeping my pussy to myself. Yoni, vagina, whatever the fuck you want to call it. My brothers really sit with that question. How has the world gotten to such a point where our women said, fuck it, I can't keep it to myself. I might as well be the one who now has the control over the shit. And do you know how fucked up the rape culture really is, to where dudes are they're paying for it just to expose the women? No bullshit. Seen a motherfucker on Twitter. The nigga said he is going to expose the girls who got OnlyFans to their fathers. You need a subscription to get into OnlyFans. You paid for some shit that you paid to expose some shit when you could have minded your business for free. You see what rape culture is? As men, we have this entitlement that pussy is ours. When I say it goes back to biblical shit, motherfuckers act like I'm wrong for that. We've been taught and conditioned that pussy is ours. The shit became the reality when we accepted the reality that a woman came from a rib, rather than the reality that men come from wombs. When we accepted that shit, consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously, we said, fuck bitches. That was the first instance in which bitches won't shit. One time in the alleged, in air quotes, history, did a woman come from a man's rib. Ever since that moment, even before that moment, men have come from the womb. And yet we think the womb is ours. Rape culture is about possession. Rape culture is about power. It is about taking. What position have we left our women? How have we contributed to rape culture so much to where our women expect certain things? Rape culture is the extreme. Rape culture is the thing. Rape is the extreme. You feel me? Situations like getting rejected and hitting a woman with a skateboard, those contribute to rape culture. Those mentalities. Forget the actions, pay attention to the mentality that is there in order for you to do this. I can't get your number, so now you a bitch and you ugly. And I ain't want you anyway. Like when did you realize that you didn't really want her? Before or after you say, yo, what you doing before you got curved? Do you wonder why women curve so much? We think women got trust issues because of the past relationships of a man. Oh, you just got daddy issues. You got relationships. You need to let go of the past. It ain't the past that she's dealing with. It's the reality, my nigga. Now, let's look at some stats again. If 60%, over 60% of our sisters have been molested, over 60% of the sisters that we know have been molested, touched in some way, shape, or form. And 100% of us claim to be oblivious to it or not really know anybody who's done it. Why would they trust us? Over 60% is every other woman. Put 10 women in a room. 6 of these women have been sexually assaulted, right? And they tell you they have been sexually assaulted. And you say, you know what? I have never met a man who sexually assaults women. You're lying. That's why they don't fuck with us like that. This is why they don't trust us, because of this rape culture. This is the shit that we contribute to. You feel me? This is the shit we got to dismantle before we have daughters. I get it. We benefit from it. We benefit from it a lot. You feel me? But we should not be benefiting at the detriment of our women. That should never be the case for our women, for our people as a whole. You should never benefit at the detriment of your counterpart. Never. 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 And it breaks my heart. It hurts because it's like, I look at women and I'm like, damn, I know all of the shit that I got to get through just to get to you. I know that's the sad part. I know all of the potential shit that I got to get through just to get to you. A lot of us talk that shit. Oh, I don't want to deal with a woman who got issues. I don't want to deal with a woman like this. If you want a bad one, if you want a beautiful one, physically appealing, you feel me, that got all of these things, you're going to have to. Those are the motherfuckers that rape culture is built to prey on. You want one at peace? You want one that's cool? You want one to be your peace? You want one to be able to, like, you're going to have to get over all of the shit that you contributed to with the rape culture that led to how she is. Now, granted, women got that shit too. Women got the shit that they've done to us. This is our situation right now about our contribution to rape culture. No deflection. No deflection. You feel what I'm saying? The inability for a man to be able to control his sexual urges is a very, very indicative sign that he could be a co-contributor to rape culture. Dudes that'll fuck anything, dudes that just get addicted to the pussy and just gotta have it, those are dangerous signs. Very dangerous signs, but we don't see the danger. They see the danger. They know the danger. And they know no matter what we do, as long as we don't get it, they can't trust us. So, like I'm saying, I think a lot of us talk about karma. We talk about the karma that we put into this world. You dig what I'm saying? Whether you're a part of something or not being able to address it shows participation. Not being able to see it shows participation. When I look at my brothers who say, I don't know anybody, I can honestly say that I admit that I know brothers who have contributed to rape culture. I've contributed to rape culture. But you have to be able to acknowledge and say, whoa. Again, take the step back and say, yo, I have never raped anybody. Me personally, I have never raped anybody. Doesn't mean I didn't contribute to rape culture. I remember grabbing girls' titties and shit, and they laughing at me. Do you know why they laughed at me? Because they actually liked me. You feel me? I always use this example. The only difference between a stalker and the person you just keep passing by, crossing paths with, is whether or not you're attracted to them. Sit with that for a second. You feel what I'm saying? The girlfriend that I ended up getting with, When I put it principally, I stalked her. I knew I wanted her number. I knew I was going to get her. So I said, I'm going to put myself in a position. I know at this particular time she walks past here. Simple shit. Like she would go from from cheerleading practice on. And I was like, yo, I want her. I'm gonna get her. I know at this particular time she walks by here. So I'm gonna make sure I'm out here. You feel me? At first, when she kept walking past and everything, we was speaking shit. And after that, eventually I got her number. When we actually talked, and she was like, it was just so crazy how we were always together. I said, I planned that. I wanted your number. And she was like, oh my gosh, it was so sweet. It was so beautiful. It was this. I stalked her. But because we were attracted to each other, nobody said anything. Now, granted, I wasn't on no sick, crazy shit. Like, let me at least justify that part. But principally, that's what I did. I didn't just so happen to pop up on her at the right time, but I knew that I wanted her. You see what I'm saying? So we have to address that part too, because there's a thin line in between. And that's where the problem is. There's so many different thin lines between a lot of shit that occurs in rape culture. And the biggest thing is that if a woman responds to it positively or not, makes us feel as if it's not wrong. I use that stalking example as, I didn't see it as stalking until it was pointed out to me. So the only reason why it wasn't stalking because she liked you. I said, damn, shit. I mean, when you really put it like that, you feel what I'm saying? It was like, okay, but I had to be able to see that shit. I had to go back and look at, those girls that I would just, now I never did anything excessive. You feel what I'm saying? Like crazily. Like I remember I could be in school and I'd walk up to a girl, like, yo, where my kiss at? And she would kiss me on the cheek. And you know what I'm saying? It's like when they like you, it's different. It's different when they like you back and you can't see the problem in it. You feel what I'm saying? What we contributed to the shit. As a culture, it's a normalcy for us. Whatever our fathers left, whatever certain realities, like we're taught to prey on certain women, only respond to women who don't do this, who do like, you wonder why women are so, I was just making a post about this. I was like, motherfuckers think it's strength when it's really rigidity. We wonder how women are so rigid. You feel what I'm saying? I live by this philosophy that I just read and I just internalized. It was like, your karma stops when you're ready for it to stop. Real shit. But I know for a fact that I have to get through so many different layers of the type of woman that I want. Because I have to get through all of the shit that has already been wired in me, that has been conditioned in me from years on in. I have to overcome that shit, show her I'm not that, and still have to peel back the layers on so many different things. Why? Because I have been a co-contributor to rape culture. We all have. We all have. We just got to admit it so we can heal. We got to address it so we can heal. You may not have been a rapist. You probably have raped nobody. You feel me? But you probably have done things against the woman that are still qualified for rape culture. And just because she liked you, just because she's attracted to you, just because she responds positively and she smiles, doesn't mean it doesn't contribute. I mean, it doesn't mean it doesn't contribute to it. And some women are so much stronger because they can know a motherfucker's an asshole and will still give him the green light to avoid bullshit. They will respond a certain way just to get out of a situation. So I'm going to leave with this, my brothers. Think about this and walk away from it with this. What would you do if you can't say no? And with that being said, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Be sure to check out my website at iamjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. I'm pretty much done with this one. Be sure to kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And this shit breaks with us. Our sons can no longer learn how to be a part of this shit. They can't. The same standard we hold with our daughters as regards to sex and respecting themselves, we need to have our sons learn to do that same shit. We can no longer just give up on our boys and not give a fuck about them, and then give all the fucks about our daughters. And we can no longer blur this motherfucking goofy ass line where sons, you can be out here fucking and it's the rites of passage, it's manhood, and then teaching your daughters to keep it locked down forever. How do you think he's going to get it? Keep that shit in mind. Keep that shit in mind. Because while we're looking at condemning our little girls for having sex, for being whatever the case may be, we need to pay attention to what we're doing to our boys, to where they feel that they can just do whatever the fuck they want to do. All right. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.